Hi, and welcome to the breakdown of Koundinyasana A, one-legged sage pose A variation. So there's a couple ways of coming into it. The way that we went into it on Saturday was from side crow. And so side crow, people kind of get these two poses mixed up. Side crow is the arm balance where the legs are together, legs are going out to the side. And then Kundi A, one-legged sage pose A variation is you can start in side crow and then top leg goes out behind you, okay? The two ways that you can come into it, I'm about to demo the way that I just explained, is from side crow. And then the second way is from lunge pose. And lunge is a lot easier of a way to come into it. And so you can do it either way. I'm going to show it this way. Yeah. So a few things to note when you're working towards Kundi A, and we did it in the class, is we need to warm up the muscles, the tendons and ligaments around the wrists. Okay, we need to strengthen the arms and the core and the chest. All right, and then we need to open up the hamstrings. Open up the outer hip, okay, and then also strengthen the inner thighs. With all arm balances, I find you generally need to strengthen front body, right, and open up either back body or side body, depending. A lot of the arm balances are twists, so that involves hip opening. Okay, so from side crow, or how we start off into it, and I'm going to walk you through all the Kramas really nice and slowly, and then I'm going to show you a couple of alternatives that you can do. So from toe stand, hands come into prayer in front of the heart, right? And you'll notice in the class that we did on Saturday, I always start with regular crow pose. And just as a teacher, you want people to, you want to do regular crow pose because that's the most fundamental arm balance. And you're generally, I didn't that day, but when I'm in a regular class, meaning in person, I'm looking around the room to see whether or not people can do, whether or not it's accessible to do crow. Because if crow pose is not accessible, then definitely side crow will be a lot harder, and Kundi A will be even harder. So gauging that, and then also kind of prepping the body to get ready for arm balances, starting with one that is symmetrical, meaning that the left and the right side are doing the same thing, that's crow pose, and then moving towards the asymmetry. Okay, so from toe stand, I would bring my hands in prayer, and we did this in the second Krama, is we come into a twist in toe stand. So I'm bringing my left elbow to the outside of my right knee. And then second Krama would be left hand down, right arm up towards the sky. So all the same prep work that you'd be doing for side crow, both hands would come down, okay? So two options for hand placements. The first option is that all 10 fingers are reaching directly out towards the right, meaning the long edge of the mat. And then from there, you'd be working the outer right hip towards the right upper arm. Okay. The second option is to have all 10 fingers reaching towards the front of your mat, meaning the short edge of your mat, and you'd be balancing your upper right thigh on just your left arm. Both of them are, I think, great. It really depends on a couple things. So I generally recommend starting with both hands, resting the upper thigh on both your upper arms. So, and the reason being is that women's center of gravity is their pelvis, men's center of gravity is their chest. So this being the center of gravity, at least for me, this is the part that wants to go down. So if I can support that part of lifting up, it's going to make it a lot easier. It's a lot more accessible. And it's also not as deep of a twist for the outer hip. So there's two factors going on there. And so I'll walk us through that one, and then I'll walk us through when it's just one arm. So I'm just going to scoot myself over so that my hands are on my mat. With all 10 fingers reaching out towards the right, I'm going to lift my upper right hip, bend my right elbow, and take my right elbow towards my right ankle. I'm going to lift my hips up, bend the elbows, and then bring my outer right hip onto my upper arm. Yep, the cat is an extra bonus. Then you're going to reach the chest forward and lift just maybe your left toes up off the ground. That checks out okay. Right toes lift up off the ground. So this is side crow, modified version. Okay, full side crow, both feet go out towards the front of your mat. I bend the knees, bring the feet back down, lift the hips up. So that's option one for side crow. I'm just going to walk us through the side crow and then the Kundi. Second option All 10 fingers reaching out towards the front of your mat. Same idea. Lift your hips up, bend your elbows, but you're just going to rest your upper thigh, your right upper thigh on your left upper arm. Again, I find you got to bring your arm towards the inside, towards the middle of the, I'm going to get my little cat to move over a little bit. You want to get your arm towards the middle of your upper thigh just to balance there. And then take your hands nice and wide out to the left and to the right. Lift the chest up. Maybe left toes lift up. Maybe right toes lift up. You'll see how it goes. And then you can explore extending the legs from there.